What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy Ron, man. I'm back with another video. This is Trigger Reactions. Hope you guys are doing great today. We're back with another video, man, from Fresh and Fit. But this one is with Charleston White. And he basically makes a feminist reflect on her statements and maybe take a new perspective on relationships. I saw this podcast a few months ago. And I was talking about in another video a while ago that Charleston came on Fresh and Fit, and he actually conducted himself in such he showed his intelligence. See, on Fresh and Fit, those guys usually go at women, and they have their perspectives, which I agree with some, not all, but their method and how they do it, they don't get the same response Charleston did from the women. Like, he really spoke to them, and I think he got through to them instead of like the Fresh and Fit guys' approach. Which I'm not saying their approach is wrong. I'm saying Charleston handled it in a different way, in a more mature way, because he's older than those guys, and he has more experience, I would say, in relationships and with women. So I think it showed. But let's check out the video, guys, and see, what happened, and we're going to give our thoughts on it.
Why aren't you guys in successful or great relationships then?
Because it's not only our problem. It's not, women aren't only the problem, because relationship is about two people. Two people have to be working on a relationship.
So you guys saying that women have gotten smarter. I'm trying to say the women before you went through the same exact things that you guys are going through.
But they weren't successful in relationships, is what I'm trying to say. They would just shut their mouth and hold on to their families because they didn't have a job, they didn't have a career, they didn't have anywhere to go. And God forbid they didn't have families to go back to with their children. They were stuck with that same man who were cheating on them.
That's smart. So you guys are in y'all 20s. So you mean to tell me the 1990s women kept their mouth shut?
No.
The 1980s
They
women?
didn't, but they probably put up with more because they couldn't do it on their own.
Hold on.
I mean, it's far of a difference of sorry.
The women who couldn't do it on their own was in the 60s. The women in the 80s had food stamps, welfare, Section 8, and child support.
That is true.
So the women I'm referencing don't need a man. They've been doing it on their own since the 90s. Yeah. But they still had men who cheated on them. Most women have been taking care of men since the 80s and the 90s. You guys are talking about grandmama and them from the 60s who needed a man. We talking about the women from the 90s. My mother was born 60, never had a man in the household.
Wow.
I was born in the 70s, so I watched a whole group of women never needed a man.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But most women today are dying single with no male companionship.
Cats and dogs.
Yeah, but how are they better off than the women who had husbands, who helped them raise the families?
He has a point, and I think this has always been the issue. This is what's been happening, because what happened was the bra burning era, when women began to become empowered and given more rights civilly, which I agree. I think we all are here saying that, maybe when the 30s and 40s and 50s, not saying that it was perfect, but there were clearly some things that just weren't acceptable, right? Especially when in regards to women. I mean, we can go back as further as any time that it just wasn't the best for people, period, right? There was slavery, there was a lot of things that just wasn't great. So, but in this particular situation with women, back in the day, they had less rights and voices and empowerment, correct? Now that they have the voices and the empowerment, they can get careers and earn their money, and they necessarily don't need a man, right? This is what they're saying. And let's stop saying, do they need a man? We get it. You got women, you don't need a man. But is your life better with a man? That's different than needing. Is your life better, more efficient, more effective, and happier with a man? Not a little boy, not a guy. I mean, with a man who's going to be what a man is to a woman, And let's be honest, like you was mentioning, you know, a lot of these women are dying single. They got all the money and careers and homes and Birkin bags and all of that, but they dying alone, miserable. So women, you have to make a choice. We're not saying settle for a man that isn't taking care of his responsibilities and being the partner you need that's gonna secure you. I mean, not financially, but definitely that's a plus. But secure you emotionally, physically, and just be what a man is to a woman. It's not all the time about the providing. We got it. You guys know how to do that. Okay, so what else is there though? What else is there? We don't have to talk about sex. What else is there outside of those two things? What else is that? Y'all think about that. Leave it down in the comments. Women, I know majority of my channel is men between the ages of 24 to 48. But I have some women here as well who definitely support the channel. We want to know, what else is there outside of the man providing and sex? And what else? What else is there that you would say outside of your career and you providing for yourself? What else is it that you want from a man that you won't get if you decide to be independent? Think about that, because a lot of the women back in the day, they probably didn't get to do a lot of things that they wanted to do independently or get their own money. But when they got older and their children grew up, they got to see the life that they built and the family that they nurtured. That's more important, and that's what a lot of women lose when they chase this independence. As far as finances and, all that. You lose that. And that is what a lot of women value most. They may not know it now in their 20s and 30s. Well, they're going to know when they get in the mid-30s. Yeah. But when you 18 to 30, that's your time to mate and create children and start to begin your family. But a lot of women don't know that because they getting caught up in the whole, I can provide. That's fine, mama. That's fine, sweetheart. You can do if that's what you want to do. But having a husband and raising children, women find out later. Most, not all, but some people, just like men, don't want to have kids. They're okay with the, just not having kids. But they still want a companion. You still want that companion, that partner in life to deal and go through and build things with in your life. A companion is something that God intended for us to have as man and woman. You see? So think about that. But let's finish the video.
Yeah, but with the
emotional stability.
Right, with the women that did die single, what else did they have in their repertoire? They had probably a career or a place to stay. Like how you said, they were supporting themselves. They probably had kids of their own if they've probably never been married.
Here's a
been
cold hard biological reality. All of them have dealt with the same kind of men that the women of the 40s and the 50s. Men haven't changed. So I'm listening to you guys saying, well, we've gotten smarter. And I'm saying, well, when you look at the results, how have y'all gotten smarter when most of y'all don't have men?
Bam.
And y'all are still dealing with the same type of men that your grandmothers dealt with.
I mean,
men
but
who lie and cheat.
It's not about to
But
have
that
a man who lies and cheat.
Right. That
Well,
doesn't gauge our intelligence.
Okay,
though.
here's the problem,
Like,
ladies.
you know what I
Here's the thing. The we got to understand a cold, hard biological fact. Men are more interested in things. Women are more interested in people. One of the biggest contributors to a woman's overall fulfillment and happiness is children and a family. There's a reason why when two men meet, they shake hands and say, what do you do for a career? When two women meet, they hug each other and say, do you have a children? Are you married? Because women base their value on their social circle, who's around them, aka a family. Men base their value on their career and what they're able to achieve. So you can say, I have a career, I make my own money. That's fantastic when you're in your 20s and you're still attractive and you got a bunch of guys coming after you. When you hit your 30s, get a little bit older, those same yacht invites aren't coming to the same level, or the same amount of DMs are not to the same level. The caliber of men that you're dealing with aren't as high as they used to be when you're in your 20s. That's when the walls are going to start to close and you're going to realize, damn, I don't have as many options as I thought. And here's the thing. 1 in 4 women now is on antidepressant medication. Female anxiety and antidepressant medication has gone up. Prescriptions has gone up since the 1970s. Women have reported lower levels of overall happiness since the 1970s as they become more empowered and more free. Explain that to me. Feminism is a lie. It tells you.
He has a point there, and this is why I rock with Fresh and Fit to a degree, because they have the facts. They look at and analyze the data when it comes to certain things. Like, for instance, everything he just said. Women statistically are unhappier the more and more they've been empowered. And think about it. Like, really think about it. Like, my wife works too. She has a job. She's a teacher. And I see how her having to work, it affects her differently than me. She rather, and she will soon, but she actually has a passion for children too, because she can do something that's less demanding. Probably not make the same amount of money, but less demanding. But she loves what she does. She really does. But my point is, she'd be happier to do less and have to take on that type of responsibility. She would rather just be home with the kids, and do that. But she still has her ambitions and passions, so she would be doing things. She would just prefer or be happier doing less of that type of work and more with her family, with her children. We have 3 children. That's just a fact. Me, I can't stay at home with them too long. I do and hold my weight as far as helping out with my children, of course, like any father would. But that we not wired the same way when it comes to that. Like, we like to go and work hard and come home tired and see our children for an hour or two or whatever, help with homework, do that part of it. But we it's a different thing, like he said, about achievement. We're happier when we can achieve and lead and build things. Not saying women can't. Not saying that they, you know what I mean? I'm saying that women are happier in their natural order of being a mother, being a companion to their husband, someone that they trust and love and that secures them and can lead them. And, that's just the natural order of things. That's it. So the more you guys have been empowered, which there's nothing, this is just me. One of the reasons why I love my wife is because of her not just her intelligence, but the fact that she doesn't necessarily need me is in that way, like financially or whatever. Nothing's wrong with that. But at the end of the day, there is an order, and she's more happier to be my companion and be with her children. That's all. She loves children. That's when she's the happiest. And she's the unhappiest when she feels like, not if her career isn't going well, even though it is, it's if how she's viewed as a mother more than anything. And the wife, more than anything, a mother though. That's just naturally what it is. And more than anything, what affects me is, am I leading and providing and, being the strong husband? You know what I mean? So we have natural wires that we follow that we just have no control over. And that's what it is. So women, we're not saying, oh, don't be empowered. Just understand that in the order of things, your passions and career don't matter to a man to where he feels like, or you know what I mean? It's not your career is your career, and if you want to be and do a career, it's fine, but you will have to choose. Eventually you will have to say, well, I naturally prefer or am happiest with building a family and supporting and and having a companion, a husband. Naturally, that's just things have gotten so far from the natural order of things that eventually, because this is how God intended, eventually, well, it sets in either sooner or later. When you 50 single with your cat and your dog, and the caliber of man that's gonna come to you at 50. Come on, man. But I don't know, guys. You guys leave down in the comments, guys, what you guys think about it. I'll leave the original video down below. That's my time, guys. Man, I really like this video. I rock with Charleston White. Go support Charleston White. Go support Fresh and Fit podcast. And yeah, women, we love y'all. Let's get things back in order, though. All right, guys. That's my time. See you guys in the next video. This your boy Ron. This is Trigger Reactions. Peace.